some people it's animation. These Japanese animation cartoons are really, really important. We have different kinds of learners. Some learners are visual, some are auditory, some are tactile, and so forth. So the traditional chalk and talk and the long hour sermons that people like me can preach is not going to cut it. So I want to put that in there to say we're not only looking at entrepreneurship generally, but to look at what are the opportunities that are there. And some of our presenters today are people who work in entrepreneurial training organizations who have information about financing. And one person actually has an e-business, which she will tell you about later when she comes. So we want to thank the minister very much for coming. Thank Dr. Vernon, who has traveled from England to be with us this week as we celebrate Founders Week, Dr. Hyacinth Booth, and female empowerment generally. This is part of it. We're not only about being ordained to ministry and in leadership, but we must have the finances like Dorcas to look after our children, ourselves, and take the occasional vacation too, you know. It's not just all about work. Have joyful things. Finger shall, face shall, and foot shall. Nothing is wrong with that. And also be able to help the next person who just needs a little start. So we are hoping that this will have ripple effects. I want to also thank the leadership of the women's organizations of the Moravian Church, the Methodist Church, the Anglican Church, the Baptist Church, and the United Church, who along with Professor Rosalie Hamilton and her team from UTEC sat with us to plan this activity. And certainly my hope is that the churches, through the Men's Fellowship, Women's Fellowship, and other organizations, will be inspired by this workshop to do other such workshops, to look very seriously at how we can help with the unemployment situation. The Council for World Mission, Caribbean, North American region has been meeting this week looking at human trafficking. And there is a link which we have to deal with. That sometimes people are lured into human trafficking because they have left school, university with subjects, degrees, centigrade, Fahrenheit, and all kinds of things. No work. And somebody puts an ad in the newspaper. You're desperate. You probably don't follow your gut feeling, as happened in one famous case. You don't read the fine print because you're so desperate for a job, and end up in situations that are extremely detrimental and dangerous. So we want as church to be part of the solution. And one of the nice things about e-business is that you don't really have to rent an expensive high-rise office in New Kingston in order to do it. All of those overheads are not necessary. There's much more flexibility. And what we are hoping is that, as I said, not only will you be empowered here, but that we will think of ways that we can spread the message and help others to think out of the box, to think creatively, and to find solutions to the problems that we have. I also want to thank First Heritage Credit Union. I think I'm tired of me. I call and nag them, but First Heritage has done some very interesting things. First thing they did was to agree to a line of credit for UTC students. So this is my advertisement now. First Heritage Credit Union has a loan facility, both secured and unsecured loans, for people who wish to do studies at UTC. Now, UTC is a part of the University of the West Indies, so you actually can combine theology with other disciplines. And in this time, Minister, when we would like to see some more money in Student Loan Bureau, we know there is pressure. At least First Heritage has tried in this way to provide some source for some people who want to do tertiary studies. So they have opened that facility to us from the beginning of this academic year. And in addition now, they have sponsored this workshop and will be here to talk about their loan facilities. Now, one of the organizations that amalgamated to make First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union is Churches Credit Union. Anybody remember Churches? And it's very important because the credit union movement was started by the church. It was started by the church with a couple shillings. Couple priests and ministers with a couple shillings and an idea. Walking all around Jamaica and then to other countries in the Caribbean with what they had in their hands. The credit union movement in Jamaica now is a multi-billion-dollar part of the financial sector, till the bank's trying to encourage the government to put in further restrictions, regulations, should I say tactfully. But the point I'm making is that the credit union movement started because people in the church recognized that poor people who wanted to start businesses, develop their farms and other things, did not have access to traditional credit. So we are standing on a good heritage here. Generally in the work of the church for the advancement of the poor in Jamaica, and also specifically the work of churches and now First Heritage. So we are delighted to partner with them in this venture. So thank you all for coming. We will continue in a short while. Thank you, Minister. We will release you. What we are doing with the break is that we are going to ask you to just turn around the chairs because the PowerPoint will be there. If you need to grab a cup of coffee or some food there all the while, but I'll ask you before you go for us to give Minister Rob. Okay, friends, as you are turning, just to let you know, you can have one of the following carbonated barbecue chicken, sweet and sour pork. Problem with that menu, please let me know right now.